In the year 2347, humanity had reached a point in its evolution where space travel was as common as taking a bus to work. Earth's cities stretched across planets and moons, connected by shimmering wormholes that hummed with energy. But amidst all this technological advancement, one event captured the imagination of every living being in the galaxy: the Galactic Beauty Showdown. The Showdown wasn't just any beauty contest. It was an intergalactic spectacle designed to celebrate diversity, culture, and aesthetics from every corner of the universe. For centuries, humans had been fascinated by alien species, their strange appearances, and unique ways of life. Now, for the first time, representatives from countless worlds would gather on Earth to compete in what promised to be the most extravagant competition ever held. Lena, a young journalist working for Universal News Network, UNN, stood at the edge of the massive arena built specifically for the event. Her heart raced as she watched workers scurry around, setting up holographic displays, floating stages, and dazzling light shows. She couldn't believe her luck. She'd been assigned to cover the entire showdown, giving her front-row access to history in the making. "Can you believe this?" Lena whispered to herself, clutching her recording device tightly. It looked like a small metal pen but could capture everything from live footage to atmospheric data. "This is going to change how we see the universe." As she wandered through the bustling area, Lena noticed something unusual: a group of contestants arriving early. They were escorted by guards wearing sleek silver uniforms adorned with the emblem of the Intergalactic Council. Each contestant radiated an aura of confidence, their forms unlike anything Lena had seen before. One of them caught her eye immediately. She was tall, almost 7 feet, with skin that shimmered like liquid gold under the artificial lights. Her hair floated weightlessly around her head, glowing faintly blue. Lena approached cautiously, unsure if she should interrupt such a majestic creature. "Excuse me," Lena said softly, raising her recorder. "I'm Lena, reporting for UNN. May I ask your name?" The golden woman turned slowly, her eyes gleaming like twin suns. A soft smile spread across her face. "You may call me Leora," she replied, her voice melodic yet commanding. "I represent the planet Solara Prime." Lena nodded eagerly, trying not to let her nerves show. "And what makes Solara Prime special?" Leora tilted her head slightly, as if considering how much to reveal. "We are beings of light and energy," she explained. "Our beauty lies not only in our appearance but in the harmony we bring to those who see us. We hope to share that gift here today." Before Lena could respond, another figure stepped forward, a shorter, more humanoid-looking individual. Her skin was deep violet, and her eyes sparkled with tiny stars. She wore a flowing robe made of some material Lena couldn't identify, shifting colors with every movement. "I'm Amara," the newcomer introduced herself, her tone playful. "From Zentrix 4. And don't let Leora intimidate you. Beauty isn't always about shining the brightest." Leora raised an eyebrow but said nothing, clearly amused by Amara's boldness. Lena felt a thrill run through her. These women weren't just participants in a contest. They were ambassadors of their worlds, each carrying stories and secrets beyond imagination. But as fascinating as these encounters were, Lena couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the showdown than met the eye. Why had the Intergalactic Council chosen Earth as the venue? What did they stand to gain from hosting such a high-profile event? Her thoughts were interrupted when a loud cheer erupted from the crowd gathered outside the arena. More contestants had arrived, each more breathtaking than the last. There was Alira, whose crystalline body refracted light into rainbows, Kale, a male representative with feathers that shimmered like oil slicks, and even a gelatinous entity named Corin, whose translucent form pulsed rhythmically, hinting at intelligence far beyond human comprehension. Lena realized she was witnessing something unprecedented, not just a competition, but a convergence of cultures, ideals, and philosophies. And somewhere in the midst of it all, humanity would play judge, deciding which vision of beauty deserved the ultimate title. As night fell over the arena, casting long shadows across the landscape, Lena prepared for the opening ceremony. Little did she know, the showdown would uncover truths about beauty, identity, and power that no one, not even the organizers, had anticipated. The arena buzzed with anticipation as thousands of spectators filled the stands, their murmurs blending into a symphony of excitement. Above them, holographic banners floated, displaying the names and images of contestants from across the galaxy. Earth's delegation had spared no expense in ensuring that the Galactic Beauty Showdown would be remembered for centuries to come. Lena adjusted her recorder pen nervously, finding a spot near the front row reserved for press personnel. She glanced around, taking in the diversity of the audience. Humans mingled freely with aliens of all shapes and sizes, some towering over others, some so small they perched on specially designed seats. It was a surreal sight, one that reminded Lena how far humanity had come since its first steps into space. As the lights dimmed, a hush fell over the crowd. A single spotlight illuminated the central stage, where an elegant figure emerged. This was Counselor Vera, a representative of the Intergalactic Council and the mastermind behind the showdown. Her presence commanded respect. Her silver robes shimmered faintly, and her piercing green eyes scanned the audience with quiet authority. "Welcome," Vera began, her voice amplified but gentle, carrying an almost musical quality. "Today marks a historic moment, a celebration not just of beauty, but of unity among the stars. For too long, our species have lived apart, separated by distance and misunderstanding. Tonight we bridge those gaps." Her words resonated deeply with Lena, who felt a lump rise in her throat. She glanced at the other journalists nearby, noting their awestruck expressions. Even the most cynical reporters seemed moved by the gravity of the occasion. Vera continued, gesturing toward the contestants lined up behind her. "Each of these individuals represents the pinnacle of their world's values, aesthetics, and ideals. They are here not merely to compete, but to share their stories and inspire us all." With a wave of her hand, Vera signaled for the opening procession to begin. One by one, the contestants stepped forward, each accompanied by a brief introduction projected onto massive screens above the stage. Lena watched intently, scribbling notes furiously as each competitor made their entrance. First came Liara, the golden-skinned woman from Solara Prime. As she walked, her shimmering form left trails of light in her wake, eliciting gasps from the crowd. Next was Amara, whose violet skin glowed softly under the stage lights. She winked playfully at the audience, earning cheers and laughter. Then there was Alira, whose crystalline body refracted the light into dazzling rainbows. Every movement she made seemed choreographed, as though she were dancing rather than walking. Kale followed, his iridescent feathers trailing behind him like a comet's tail. Corin, the gelatinous entity, undulated gracefully across the stage, drawing both fascination and nervous titters from the audience. But it wasn't just the visual spectacle that captivated Lena, it was the reactions of the crowd. Some clapped enthusiastically, while others leaned forward in awe, clearly struggling to comprehend what they were seeing. There were whispers of admiration, debates about who looked most beautiful, and even a few heated arguments breaking out among spectators. "What do you think?" Lena whispered to a fellow journalist seated beside her, a wiry man named Theo. He adjusted his glasses thoughtfully before responding. "It's overwhelming," Theo admitted. "I mean, how do you even judge something like this? Beauty is subjective, isn't it?" Lena nodded, considering his point. The rules of the competition hadn't been fully disclosed yet, but rumors suggested that the judging criteria would go beyond physical appearance. Intelligence, cultural significance, and charisma were said to play significant roles as well. Just then, the atmosphere shifted. A new contestant took the stage, one unlike any they'd seen so far. She was humanoid in shape, but her skin appeared to be made of translucent glass, revealing intricate patterns of flowing colors beneath the surface. Her name, according to the projection, was Nyx, and she hailed from a distant nebula known as the Veil of Eternity. When Nyx spoke, her voice echoed as if carried by wind. "My people believe that true beauty lies in transformation," she said simply, raising her arms. In an instant, her entire form shifted, morphing into a swirling vortex of light and shadow. The crowd erupted into applause, many rising to their feet in astonishment. Lena couldn't help but feel a pang of envy. How could anyone possibly choose a winner when every contestant brought something so extraordinary to the table? As the introductions drew to a close, Counselor Vera returned to the center of the stage. "This is only the beginning," she announced. "Over the next several days, our contestants will participate in challenges designed to showcase their talents, wisdom, and inner strength. And at the end of it all, one will be crowned the epitome of galactic beauty." The crowd roared its approval, but Lena noticed something odd. Amidst the cheering, a group of individuals stood silently at the back of the arena, their faces obscured by dark cloaks. They didn't clap or cheer, they simply watched, their stony silence setting them apart from the jubilant throng. Before Lena could dwell on it further, the ceremony concluded with a dazzling display of pyrotechnics and holograms. Fireworks exploded in the air, forming constellations that mirrored those visible in the night sky. Music filled the arena, a blend of alien instruments and human melodies that created a hauntingly beautiful harmony. As the audience dispersed, Lena lingered behind, unable to shake the feeling that something important had slipped past her notice. Who were those cloaked figures? Why had they attended the event without participating in the festivities? And why did their presence give her such an uneasy feeling? She decided to investigate further, slipping away from the main exit and heading toward the backstage area. Security guards patrolled the corridors, but Lena managed to avoid detection by ducking into alcoves and using her recorder pen to document everything she saw. Eventually, she found herself outside a locked door marked "Contestant Lounge." Pressing her ear against the cool metal surface, she heard muffled voices speaking in languages she didn't recognize. One voice, however, stood out. It belonged to Leora. "They're watching us," Leora said urgently. "We need to be careful." "Careful?" Another voice replied. It sounded like Nick's. "What can they do? We've done nothing wrong." "They don't care about right or wrong," Leora shot back. "They want control. If we're not vigilant, this entire event could spiral out of hand." Lena's heart raced. What were they talking about? Who was they? Before she could hear more, footsteps approached from down the hall. Panicking, she ducked into a nearby supply closet, holding her breath as the footsteps passed by. When she finally emerged, the corridor was empty. But Lena knew one thing for certain: the Galactic Beauty Showdown was far more complicated than it appeared. Beneath the glittering surface lay secrets, and perhaps dangers, that no one had anticipated. The next morning, Lena woke up with a mix of excitement and unease. The events of the previous night lingered in her mind like an unresolved puzzle. She replayed Leora's cryptic warning over and over again. "They're watching us." Who exactly were they? And what kind of control did they seek? Determined to uncover answers, Lena arrived at the arena early, hoping to catch some of the contestants before the day's challenges began. The first challenge was scheduled for midday, giving her time to mingle and observe. As she entered the bustling backstage area, she noticed the same group of cloaked figures from the opening ceremony standing near a security checkpoint. They spoke quietly among themselves, their hoods pulled low over their faces. Lena hesitated, unsure whether to approach them directly or keep her distance. Instead, she decided to focus on the contestants, many of whom were already preparing for the day ahead. Some meditated in quiet corners, while others rehearsed performances or adjusted their outfits. It was clear that everyone took this competition seriously, even those who seemed carefree, like Amara, were subtly strategizing. "Good morning, Lena," came a familiar voice. Lena turned to see Nyx approaching, her translucent form shimmering softly in the dim light. Despite her ethereal appearance, there was a grounded warmth to her demeanor. "Morning, Nyx," Lena replied, forcing a smile. "You really stole the show last night." Nyx tilted her head slightly, as if amused by the compliment. "It wasn't about stealing anything. My people believe beauty is transformative, not just for ourselves, but for those who witness it. That must be why you shifted forms during your introduction," Lena said thoughtfully. "It was incredible." "Yes, but transformation isn't always easy," Nyx added cryptically. "Sometimes it comes at a cost." Before Lena could ask what she meant, another contestant joined them, Elira, the crystalline being whose movements mirrored sunlight dancing on water. Her presence was calm yet commanding, and Lena felt herself drawn to her immediately. "You're asking questions again, aren't you?" Alira said, her voice melodic. "I saw you scribbling notes yesterday. Are you trying to solve the mystery of the showdown?" Lena laughed nervously. "Is it that obvious? I guess I'm just curious. There's so much happening here that doesn't make sense." Alira exchanged a glance with Nyx, their expressions unreadable. "Curiosity can be dangerous," Alira warned gently. "But it can also lead to truth. Just be careful where your questions take you." Their words only deepened Lena's intrigue. What truth were they hinting at? Was it connected to the cloaked figures? Or something else entirely? Later that morning, the contestants gathered in a large chamber for the first official challenge. Counselor Vera stood at the front, flanked by members of the Intergalactic Council. Behind them loomed a massive screen displaying the rules of the task. "This challenge tests not just physical grace, but adaptability," Vera announced. "Each of you will navigate a labyrinth designed to simulate environments from across the galaxy. Your goal is simple: reach the center and retrieve the artifact waiting there. But beware, the maze will change as you move through it." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Lena watched as the contestants exchanged glances, some visibly nervous while others exuded confidence. The concept of a shifting maze sounded daunting, even for beings accustomed to extraordinary feats. As the challenge began, Lena followed the action via live feeds broadcast throughout the arena. Cameras placed inside the maze captured every twist and turn, allowing spectators to experience the trials alongside the competitors. Lena found herself rooting for several contestants, particularly Leora, whose radiant energy lit up the darkest corners of the labyrinth, and Kale, whose feathered wings allowed him to glide over obstacles. But not everything went smoothly. Halfway through the challenge, alarms blared suddenly, startling both contestants and audience alike. On the screens, Lena saw one section of the maze collapse, trapping several participants, including Nyx, behind a wall of debris. "What's going on?" someone shouted from the stands. Counselor Vera stepped forward, her expression calm but firm. "There appears to have been a malfunction in the maze's programming. Rest assured, our teams are working to resolve the issue." Despite her reassurances, Lena couldn't shake the feeling that the incident was more than just a technical glitch. She glanced toward the cloaked figures, who remained eerily still, their eyes fixed on the chaos unfolding before them. Backstage, Lena spotted Amara pacing anxiously. "Do you think they'll get Nyx out in time?" Lena asked, joining her. Amara shrugged, though her usual playful demeanor had vanished. "If anyone can handle it, it's Nyx. But I don't trust this place anymore. Something feels off." Lena nodded, sharing her concerns. "I heard Leora talking last night. She mentioned someone, or something, is watching all of you." Amara's eyes widened. "She said that? Then maybe we're not the only ones competing here." Before Lena could press further, an announcement echoed through the arena. The trapped contestants had been safely evacuated, and the challenge would resume shortly. Relief washed over the crowd, but Lena's unease only grew stronger. When the event concluded hours later, Leora emerged victorious, having reached the artifact first. Her poise and determination earned thunderous applause, but Lena noticed a shadow of worry lingering in her golden eyes. Afterward, Lena approached Leora cautiously. "Congratulations," she said. "That was incredible." "Thank you," Leora replied, her tone guarded. "But the real test is yet to come." "What do you mean?" Lena asked. Leora hesitated, then leaned closer, lowering her voice. "This showdown isn't just about beauty or skill. It's a game of power, and not everyone playing has pure intentions. Stay alert, Lena. You're closer to the truth than you realize." With that, Leora walked away, leaving Lena more determined than ever to uncover the secrets lurking beneath the glittering facade of the Galactic Beauty Showdown. The following day brought a palpable tension to the arena. News of the maze incident had spread quickly, fueling speculation among both contestants and spectators. While some dismissed it as a minor technical error, others whispered about sabotage or hidden agendas. Lena found herself caught in the middle of these swirling rumors, her reporter instincts urging her to dig deeper. As she navigated the crowded corridors backstage, Lena noticed an increased presence of security personnel. Their armor gleamed under the artificial lights, and their movements were deliberate, almost mechanical. It was clear that the organizers were taking no chances after the previous day's mishap. Or perhaps they were trying to cover something up. Lena spotted Theo, the wiry journalist from the opening ceremony, leaning against a wall with his recorder pen in hand. He looked frazzled, his glasses askew. "Hey, Theo," Lena greeted him. "You look like you've seen a ghost." He sighed, running a hand through his disheveled hair. "Maybe I have. Did you hear about the contestant who dropped out last night? Corin, the gelatinous one?" Lena frowned. "Dropped out? Why?" "No one knows for sure," Theo replied, lowering his voice. "Officially, it's listed as personal reasons, but I overheard some staff talking. Apparently, Corin refused to continue, claiming the maze was rigged." "Rigged?" Lena echoed, her pulse quickening. "Against specific contestants?" Theo shrugged. "That's what Corin implied. But here's the kicker. Shortly after leaving the arena, Corin vanished. No one's seen them since." A chill ran down Lena's spine. If Corin had truly disappeared, it raised troubling questions about the safety of the event, and the motives of those running it. She glanced toward the cloaked figures, who once again stood silently at the edges of the venue. Their presence felt more ominous than ever. Later that afternoon, the second challenge commenced. This time, the focus shifted from physical prowess to intellectual acumen. Contestants were tasked with solving complex puzzles designed to test their problem-solving abilities and cultural knowledge. Holographic screens displayed each competitor's progress in real time, turning the arena into a hive of anticipation. Lena watched intently as Nyx tackled a particularly intricate riddle involving celestial navigation. Her translucent form shimmered with concentration, and Lena couldn't help but admire her determination. Despite the earlier incident in the maze, Nyx showed no signs of hesitation. Meanwhile, Amara dazzled the crowd with her quick wit, cracking jokes even as she solved puzzles faster than anyone else. "Brains and charm," one spectator remarked, earning laughter from those nearby. Yet beneath her confident exterior, Lena detected a flicker of unease whenever Amara glanced toward the cloaked figures. Kale, too, proved formidable, his iridescent feathers fluttering as he worked through calculations with remarkable precision. But it was Leora who drew the most attention. Her golden skin seemed to glow brighter with every correct answer, as if her very essence thrived on intellectual stimulation. Yet despite the outward display of competition, Lena sensed an undercurrent of distrust among the contestants. Conversations between them were brief and guarded, and alliances formed during the first challenge now appeared fragile. Something, or someone, was driving a wedge between them. After the challenge concluded, Lena decided to confront Counselor Vera directly. She waited patiently outside the council chambers until the elegant figure emerged, flanked by aides. When Lena stepped forward, Vera's piercing green eyes locked onto hers. "Yes, miss." Vera paused, prompting Lena to introduce herself. "Lena. I'm with Universal News Network. I wanted to ask about the recent incidents, the maze malfunction and Corin's disappearance." Vera's expression remained composed, though Lena thought she detected a flicker of irritation. "These matters are being investigated thoroughly," Vera replied smoothly. "We assure you, the safety of our contestants is our top priority. But isn't it concerning that Corin hasn't been seen since leaving?" Lena pressed. "And why are there so many cloaked figures around? They don't seem to be part of the official delegation." Vera's smile tightened. "Those individuals are observers from neutral parties, ensuring the integrity of the competition. As for Corin, we respect their decision to withdraw. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have pressing matters to attend to." With that, Vera swept past Lena, her silver robes trailing behind her. Lena stood frozen, frustration bubbling within her. The answers she sought remained just out of reach, obscured by layers of secrecy. That evening, Lena returned to the press lounge to review her notes. As she replayed recordings of interviews and observations, a pattern began to emerge. Each incident, the maze collapse, Corin's disappearance, the contestants' growing paranoia, seemed connected. But how? Her thoughts were interrupted when a soft knock sounded at the door. Opening it cautiously, she found Nick standing there, her translucent form glowing faintly in the dim light. "I need your help," Nick said without preamble. "There's something you need to see." Intrigued and slightly alarmed, Lena followed Nick through a series of winding hallways until they reached a restricted area marked Maintenance Access. Nick gestured for silence as they slipped inside, revealing a narrow catwalk overlooking the arena's control room. Below them, several cloaked figures huddled around a bank of monitors, their voices low but urgent. On the screens, Lena recognized maps of the arena overlaid with strange symbols and codes. One figure pointed to a holographic projection of the upcoming challenges, marking certain sections with red markers. "They're planning something," Nick whispered. "Something that could endanger us all." Lena's mind raced. Were the cloaked figures manipulating the competition? And if so, for what purpose? Before she could formulate a response, a sudden noise startled them both. A metallic clang echoed through the maintenance shaft. "We need to leave." "No," Nick urged, pulling Lena back toward the exit. As they hurried away, Lena realized the stakes were higher than she'd imagined. The Galactic Beauty Showdown wasn't just a contest, it was a battleground, where beauty and power intertwined in ways she was only beginning to understand. Lena's heart pounded as she and Nick slipped back into the bustling corridors of the arena, blending seamlessly with the crowd. Despite their successful escape from the maintenance shaft, Lena couldn't shake the image of those cloaked figures plotting in secret. What had they been marking on the maps? And what did it mean for the contestants, and humanity itself? "Who are they?" Lena asked Nick in a hushed tone as they paused near a secluded alcove. "Do you know anything about them?" Nick hesitated, her translucent form shimmering faintly. "Not much," she admitted. "But I've heard whispers among the other contestants. They call themselves the Obscura Syndicate, a shadowy group rumored to manipulate intergalactic events for their own gain." "Their own gain?" Lena echoed, her stomach sinking. "What do they want? Power? Resources? Control?" Nick replied grimly. "They thrive on chaos, sowing discord wherever they go. My people believe they're behind many conflicts across the galaxy, wars, political upheavals, even natural disasters disguised as accidents." Lena felt a chill run down her spine. If the Obscura Syndicate was truly orchestrating events at the Galactic Beauty Showdown, then the competition wasn't just about crowning a winner, it was a pawn in a much larger game. Why would they target this event, though? Lena wondered aloud. "It's supposed to be about unity and celebrating diversity. Because beauty is power," Nick explained softly. "To decide who represents the most stunning female in the universe is to wield immense influence over how others perceive value and worth. Imagine if one species, or one ideology, gains dominance through this contest. That's exactly what the Syndicate wants, to tip the scales in their favor." Lena nodded slowly, piecing together the implications. By rigging the challenges or sabotaging certain contestants, the Syndicate could ensure that the winner aligned with their agenda. It was a sinister plan, hidden beneath layers of glamour and spectacle. Determined to expose the truth, Lena spent the next few hours gathering evidence. She revisited recordings from previous days, paying close attention to moments involving the cloaked figures. In one clip, she noticed one of them slipping something into the maze control panel just before the collapse. Another showed a brief exchange between Vera and a hooded individual during the opening ceremony, their body language tense and hurried. Armed with these observations, Lena sought out Theo again. As much as she distrusted corporate media outlets, she knew she couldn't tackle this alone. Together, they devised a plan to confront the Intergalactic Council publicly, using undeniable proof to force them to address the Syndicate's involvement. But first, she needed to warn the contestants. That evening, Lena arranged a secret meeting in an empty lounge backstage. Leora, Amara, Kale, Alira, and several others gathered cautiously, their expressions ranging from suspicion to outright fear. We have reason to believe the competition has been compromised. Lena began, projecting holographic images of the cloaked figures onto the wall. These individuals, the Obscura Syndicate, are manipulating the challenges and targeting specific contestants. A murmur rippled through the group. Some looked skeptical, while others nodded grimly, confirming Lena's suspicions. I knew something was wrong, Leora said, her golden eyes blazing. This isn't just about winning anymore. It's about survival. Amara crossed her arms, her playful demeanor replaced by steely resolve. So what do we do? Play along until they make their move? No, Lena interjected firmly. We fight back. Expose them. If we can gather enough evidence and present it to the public, we might be able to shut this whole thing down. The room fell silent as everyone absorbed her words. Finally, Nyx stepped forward. If we act together, we stand a chance. But we must be careful. The Syndicate won't hesitate to eliminate anyone who gets in their way. With reluctant agreement, the contestants dispersed, each vowing to stay vigilant during the remaining challenges. Lena returned to the press lounge, where Theo awaited her with fresh intel. He'd managed to hack into the arena's security feeds, uncovering encrypted messages between the cloaked figures and someone within the council itself. It's worse than we thought, Theo muttered, showing Lena the decrypted texts. They're planning to rig the final challenge, to guarantee a specific winner. Lena clenched her fists, anger bubbling inside her. Then we need to stop them before it's too late. The next morning brought the penultimate challenge, a grand performance showcase designed to highlight each contestant's unique talents. The arena buzzed with excitement as spectators eagerly anticipated the displays of artistry and skill. For Lena, however, the atmosphere felt charged with tension, every cheer and applause masking the looming threat. As the performances unfolded, Lena kept a watchful eye on both the contestants and the cloaked figures. When it was Leora's turn, she illuminated the stage with radiant light, her movements fluid and mesmerizing. Amara followed with a fiery dance routine that left the audience breathless. Even Kale's feathered display drew thunderous applause, his iridescent plumage casting prismatic reflections across the arena. Yet amidst the brilliance, Lena noticed subtle disturbances. Microscopic drones hovered near the judges' table, transmitting data to unknown recipients. A sudden power surge disrupted Alira's crystalline projection, forcing her to improvise mid-performance. And when Nyx took the stage, her transformative abilities seemed hindered, as though an invisible force resisted her changes. By the end of the showcase, Lena was certain the Syndicate was actively interfering, tipping the scales in favor of their chosen candidate. She shared her findings with Theo, who agreed it was time to act. That night, under the cover of darkness, Lena and Theo hacked into the arena's mainframe, broadcasting their evidence directly onto the massive screens above the stage. Spectators gasped as footage of the cloaked figures scheming filled the air, accompanied by decrypted messages detailing their plans. Chaos erupted as the crowd turned against the organizers, demanding answers. Counselor Vera rushed to the stage, her composure shattered. "This is an outrage!" she shouted, pointing accusingly at Lena. "You've jeopardized the integrity of this event." "No," Lena countered, stepping forward boldly. "You did. This isn't about beauty or unity, it's about control. And we won't let you get away with it." For a moment, silence reigned. Then, to Lena's astonishment, the contestants joined her on stage, standing united against the corruption threatening to overshadow their achievements. Together, they declared that the true measure of beauty lay not in competition, but in collaboration, a lesson the galaxy would never forget. The arena was electric with tension as Lena stood alongside the contestants, her voice echoing across the crowd. The holographic screens above displayed irrefutable evidence of the Obscura Syndicate's manipulations, encrypted messages, surveillance footage, and schematics detailing their plans to rig the Galactic Beauty Showdown. Gasps rippled through the audience, followed by murmurs of outrage and disbelief. Counselor Vera's face flushed with anger, her usual poise crumbling under the weight of exposure. She turned to the cloaked figure standing at the edge of the stage, her piercing green eyes narrowing. "This is your doing," she hissed, though her words were drowned out by the growing clamor of the spectators. One of the cloaked figures stepped forward, lowering their hood to reveal a gaunt, pale face framed by dark hair. Their cold, calculating gaze swept over the crowd before settling on Lena. "You think you've won?" they sneered, their voice dripping with disdain. "You're merely delaying the inevitable." Lena clenched her fists but held her ground. "Maybe," she shot back. "But we're not afraid anymore. Whatever game you're playing ends here." The figure's lips curled into a sinister smile. "We'll see about that." With a sharp gesture, they signaled to their companions, who began retreating toward the exits. Security guards rushed to intercept them, but the cloaked individuals vanished into thin air, leaving behind only faint traces of energy. The crowd erupted into cheers and applause, rallying behind Lena and the contestants. For the first time since the competition began, humanity and alien species alike united, not in judgment or rivalry, but in defiance against corruption and deceit. As order slowly returned to the arena, Counselor Vera attempted to salvage what remained of her authority. She raised her hands for silence, though her voice trembled when she finally spoke. This incident will be thoroughly investigated," she promised, glancing nervously at the furious faces surrounding her. "Rest assured, justice will prevail." Her words rang hollow, but no one cared. The damage had been done, and trust in the Intergalactic Council's impartiality was shattered. Instead, all eyes turned to the contestants, whose courage and unity had exposed the truth. Leora stepped forward, her golden skin glowing brighter than ever. "This contest was meant to celebrate beauty in all its forms," she declared, her melodic voice carrying strength and conviction. "But true beauty cannot exist where deception thrives. Tonight, we stand together, not as competitors, but as allies." Amara nodded, stepping beside Leora. "Beauty isn't about perfection," she added, her playful tone replaced by sincerity. "It's about authenticity, resilience, and the ability to inspire change. That's what we've shown today." One by one, the other contestants joined them on stage, forming a line that represented the diversity of the galaxy itself. Nyx, her translucent form shimmering softly, addressed the audience directly. "Let this moment remind us that our differences are our greatest strength. Together, we can overcome anything, even those who seek to divide us." The crowd roared in approval, their cheers reverberating through the arena like thunder. Spectators from every corner of the universe rose to their feet, applauding not just the contestants, but the ideals they now embodied. Backstage, Lena watched the scene unfold with a mixture of awe and relief. She had started this journey as a simple journalist seeking a story, but somewhere along the way, she had become part of something much larger, a movement to reclaim beauty from those who sought to exploit it. Theo approached her, grinning ear to ear. "You did it," he said, clapping her on the shoulder. "You brought down the syndicate, or at least exposed their schemes." "I didn't do it alone," Lena replied, shaking her head. "It was everyone, the contestants, the audience, even you. Without all of us working together, none of this would have happened." As the celebration continued, the contestants gathered backstage to discuss what came next. There was talk of canceling the final challenge altogether, given the circumstances, but Kale suggested an alternative. "Why not let the people decide?" he proposed, his iridescent feathers catching the light. "Instead of judges or algorithms, let the audience vote for the winner based on who inspired them the most, not just physically, but emotionally and intellectually." The idea resonated with everyone present. Within minutes, organizers scrambled to set up a secure voting system accessible to all attendees. Votes poured in rapidly, reflecting the collective admiration and respect each contestant had earned throughout the competition. When the results were tallied hours later, there was no single winner. Instead, the title of Galactic Beauty was awarded to all the contestants collectively, symbolizing unity and shared triumph over adversity. Each participant received a medallion engraved with the phrase, "Strength through diversity." In the days that followed, news of the showdown spread far beyond Earth, igniting conversations about transparency, integrity, and the true meaning of beauty. The Obscura Syndicate's influence waned as galactic communities rallied against their tactics, vowing to resist manipulation wherever it surfaced. For Lena, the experience marked the beginning of a new chapter. Her exposé became the most read article in Universal News Network history, earning her accolades and opportunities she never imagined. But more importantly, it cemented her belief in the power of truth and collaboration. As she stood outside the arena one final time, watching ships depart for distant worlds, Lena felt a profound sense of hope. Humanity, and the galaxy, had taken a step forward, proving that even in the darkest moments, light could shine through. And so, beneath the stars, a new era dawned, one defined not by division, but by unity, not by fear, but by courage, and not by superficial standards, but by the boundless potential of beings coming together to create something truly beautiful.